Hi, baby gorgeouses. Happy Thursday. It's your girl, Taria. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your morning to watch a WEIGO YouTube video, AKA What Else is Going On. You can find the audio version of the podcast wherever you find your podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Spotify, iTunes. Type in What Else is Going On with Taria S. Faison, and you will find me. So I miss y'all, first of all. And I just want to get into some things. So I will be coming back to y'all later with another video, but I came on off the road because for those of y'all that know, I do rideshare gigging. For those of y'all that don't know, I do rideshare gigging. It allows me the flexibility to be able to do the things that I really want to do. But Lord, let me tell you something. Pray for your girl. I think I asked y'all in a previous video, please pray for your girl. As much as I love to have conversation and talk, and like, I'm not a game night person. I'll go to a game night and support a friend, but I'm not a game night person. When I get together with friends, I like to, have good food, good drinks, good conversation. Cause I like to, talk to folks. The two places that I don't really like to have conversation is at the gym, when I'm working out, and when people get into my car. I want to say good morning, good afternoon. Your destination is 1234 9200 Way. And then we drive, and then you get out. And I say, have a good day, good morning, whatever. I don't want to have a conversation. It does something to me. Like, my husband always says he's not a big fan of small talk. I don't mind small talk, except for when I'm doing rideshare. I don't, some of the things that people tell you just like literally blow your mind. And I know for me, I don't like to carry energy that isn't mine. So you wake up, yes, life is lifing, but I say my prayer, I do whatever I need to do. Say see you to my husband, kiss him, see you later. We go on about our days. Have a great day. You too, blah, 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 blah. You get in the car and you may be, and for me, driving gives me a lot of time to think, right? So you think about a lot of things, but you're like, nope. If something's going on, I'm still going to keep a positive attitude. I'm trying to fight through it. Then you get somebody in that's like, oh, another day of work. Oh, I hate this job. Oh, and you could feel the negativity. And it's like, now you leaving that in here. I don't know. Just a little rant about it. Overall, the positive is, and I'm grateful for the flexibility. I had one of my daughter's friends say to me, I look at your life and I'm like, Dag, I want to do what she's doing. She manages an apartment complex, and, goes to work, has this, has that, whatever. And she was saying, I look at your life and you're able to do this, you're able to do that, and you're able to have flexibility in what you do. And I wish I had that. And I hadn't thought about it that way. Sometimes you get so stuck into what you feel like you don't want to do that you don't realize that other people are looking at you like, Dag, I wish I had the flexibility to do that, right? And to go full time to do your own business or what have you. So I'm trying to look at the positives that way. Then these people get in my car complaining, and I'm like, ah. But anyway, let me get that out of my system. Except if I ever get one of y'all in my car, we can have a conversation. But real quick, let's get into this first video, some of the things I wanted to talk to y'all about. First of all, RHONY. I didn't mind the reboot at all. And I know y'all probably y'all may come for me, but I didn't mind Psy either. I actually really didn't. I felt like, I feel like the girls may get their groove in season 2. What I hope is that they don't let the viewers change them, because this is where with Housewives, I feel for them, even though I know they chose to do it, but it's either you damned if you do or damned if you don't, because you come on, the audience, we hate you, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this. They read those comments, they come back and start doing everything the audience says that they should have done, or don't do what the audience says they shouldn't do. And now we're like, you're not authentic, you're not authentic, you're not authentic. So I appreciate it, whether you liked her or not, Psy and the ladies, for being just who they were. But I feel like maybe season 2 will give us a little bit more with some of the housewives, because we already know Jenna Child is not showing her relationships and all of that stuff. I think we talked about that in a separate video. But Rebecca Minkoff, the purse designer, is said to be joining the Housewives, the RHONY reboot. What is it? Is it season 15 for the RHONY reboot? Now, we don't know if she's going to be full-time or a friend of. Right now, we know she is filming. I think that's kind of cool, her being in the fashion world. Jenna's in the fashion world. Jessa's in the fashion world, even on a different side of it, but it's still in that world. So I think that will be a cool thing, maybe like a common thread to connect them. But one of the things that I've been seeing is people are like, here we go. First of all, Rebecca Minkoff is not related to Crystal from what I see. She's not related to her at all. That's what I had read, child, but maybe I'll reach out and ask. But one of the things that I've seen a lot of conversation around is Rebecca being a Scientologist. So people are like, oh my gosh, here we go. You bringing a Scientologist onto the show. So what I wanted to do was get into what Rebecca herself said about being a Scientologist. So Us Weekly, what Rebecca Minkoff has said about being a Scientologist before RHONY. The news that designer Rebecca Minkoff is filming with the Real Housewives of New York City cast has brought with it some fascinating questions. Mainly, will Minkoff's beliefs as a Scientologist play a role in season 15 of the Bravo staple? A source close to production told Us Weekly that Minkoff has been shooting with some of the ladies for the upcoming season in an unspecified role. So we don't know if she's going to be a friend of, main cast, or guest of. But however much of her fans end up seeing this season, viewers should not expect her to shy away from her religion. As she told the New York Times in a 2021 profile, I'm totally open, but it's not my job to proselytize. Minkoff's relationship to Scientology is her own, and as the profile highlighted, she identifies both as Jewish and a Scientologist. She refers to the church as more of a self-improvement philosophy. I think there's a lot of confusion when people hear the word religion. Immediately, you hear that I pray to L. Ron Hubbard. I study it, I take classes, and that's the extent of it. And it's helped me stay centered. I don't have all the answers. When I needed someone, it was a place for me to go to get some answers. Minkoff went deeper on her beliefs in an appearance on the Dinner Party with Jeremy Fall podcast in October 2021. Scientology, which the word itself means knowledge. That's all it means. I'm Jewish, so I have my beliefs with Judaism and God, and I go to Scientology to learn knowledge. And that's spiritual because I'm not working out my abs. We're just separating the body from the spirit. It has personally helped me from my own demons, my own things I'm not happy about myself. She went on, she went on to try and discredit critics of Scientology who she believes are pushing misinformation. She says, those same critics call Scientology a cult and point to the role of Minkoff's father, also a Scientologist, might have played in the 1995 death of Lisa McPherson. Child, now wait a minute, I didn't know. McPherson was a McPherson was a Scientologist whom the church convinced to not seek medical care after a minor traffic accident. Instead, she spent 17 days in the care of the church until her death. Rebecca's father, David Minkoff, was the doctor who pronounced McPherson dead. Girl. I've been around it and in it for the better part of 20 years, and I've never seen anything kooky or weird or anything except a bunch of nice people who go out of their way to help others in need. Rebecca concluded by saying that a few bad actors should not define Scientology as a whole. Oh, so she talked about Tom Cruise. You can't take a bad person and equate it with the original tenets. There's no such thing as an alien. We don't believe in an effing all the crazy stuff. The aliens are going to come, whatever. That's how she said it. Oh, baby, Leah Remini would like a word, Rebecca. She would like a word. Where is David Miscavige's wife? The one in Scientology that we haven't seen, that's been missing. Anyway, what do y'all think? Do y'all feel like because that's her belief, Bravo should draw the line there, considering the things that we've heard about Scientology? Or do you feel like she should be able to come on and talk about her beliefs as well? I will say this, having a belief is one thing. I believe in God. Other people believe in other things. Everybody doesn't believe in what I believe in and vice versa, right? I do feel like with these things, I get what she's saying about it's centering her and helping her battle some of her own things, right? I do feel like there needs to be care in not spreading misinformation. And I'm not saying that she is. I'm just saying with any religion or any spiritual belief, to not spread or try to force your beliefs on somebody else. I'm one. I would rather somebody say to me, wow, I noticed this, and this about you. Like, how do you achieve that peace? Or how do you do this? And then I say, well, blah, 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 blah. I believe in letting your life speak for you, letting your actions, and we're all not perfect. So sometimes our actions are going to be wild and and maybe out of pocket at times, but I believe you can also see a person's heart through all of that too, right? So my thing is, believe what you want to believe. But I do think, and this is not about Rebecca, but in anything, I feel like if you give a person or people who spread misinformation a platform, that's when it becomes dangerous. Look at our former president, right? So I'm not saying that that's what she's going to do. I'm just saying that's how I feel. We have to be careful with who we give platforms to, even though we all can have platforms, from your Facebook page to your Instagram page or whatever. I think it's important to handle your platform in the right way and not use it to spread disinformation. So I'm interested to see how this goes and see the discourse around it. Again, let me know what y'all think, as far as, do y'all think she should have never even been given a platform, no matter how big, no matter how minor, whether it be friend of, guest of, or housewife? Let me know. Let's jump into something else I wanted to talk about. I know y'all have seen it, right? I should have got down here the first day it came out, but life. But hey, we're not going backwards. That's the past. Carlos King and Dr. Heavenly. I will admit that I do not watch Messy Mondays because I used to watch the recaps with Heavenly and Carlos, and then it got to the point where I was turned off. And I'm gonna be honest, Heavenly, some of the things that she would just throw out there and say, it turned me off. So I stopped watching anything that him and her did together. But I did see this clip, which led me to kind of watch a little bit more of this video. And I feel like we got more of a softer side of Heavenly a little bit. But the particular piece that I'm talking about is Carlos crying when talking about Candiace and being on the show. Again, most of y'all probably have seen it, but I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here because I'm going to keep saying it. I'm technologically savvy in these streets, I think. Yes, I am. Let me, before I do all that, let me make sure y'all are going to be able to hear it. I'm doing all that, and then I turn it on and y'all won't even be able to hear it. Okay, for those of you that have heard it, come along on the ride anyway. Let's see here. Let me make my screen big because y'all might be trying to see what I got going on my computer. Ain't that much anyway, but all right, here we go. Let's listen to a little bit of what Carlos has to say.
It's sad to me because we are invested in her, and we are invested in her and Chris. And the sad part is, to me, I don't want the last memory of Candiace being that, she had to fight for her life to get along with these girls. I'm going to skip all over because I want to stay on topic in terms of who we're talking about. So raindrops and boopies, I'm going to like go back and forth with the recap. We're not going to go in chronological order. So work with me here. When I saw that Giselle and Mia and Ashley blamed Candiace for Deborah's actions, I was disgusted. I was heartbroken for Candiace. When Candiace cried a real tear, right, and said, I have to defend myself because no one will be here defending me. Bitch, I lost it in my living room. I lost it in my living room. To when she said, it was, in heaven, let's talk about it. For me, it was the acknowledgement of her looking around the room saying, at the end of the day, none of you women are here to protect me. So if I have to get a bottle and defend myself, I'll have to do that because none of you women will fight for me. And I felt like Candiace's whole moment on the show has been her fighting for her life to be a part of these girls. And I was so disappointed in Giselle, who wasn't even there to say, I blame Wendy and Candiace. When Giselle, you were not.
He was disappointed in Giselle Kobe Bryant, one of his top housewives. But I get it. Okay.
Not even there. You weren't even there. I would have said, Heavenly, real talk. I would have said, you know what? Andy, with all due respect, I wasn't there. So I'm not gonna comment on it. We know you don't like Wendy, and we know you don't like Candiace. We've heard it in nauseam. We know that. Can you, for once, Giselle, I beg of you. And this is the part where I said to myself, who is the real Giselle Bryant? Will the real Giselle Bryant stand up? Because I can't for the life of me understand why you can't have a human moment and say, I wasn't there to comment, to blame Wendy. And then when they said, well, Wendy wasn't around, well, Candiace, it was like, y'all have weaponized Candiace as being a spoiled brat because she comes from money. When at the end of the day, all of you mothers on that stage are raising a Candiace.
Say it.
All of you mothers on that stage are raising your children to grow with generational wealth.
Come on.
All of you women on that show are raising your children to not have to ask for a man to get a house. All of you women on that couch are raising your children to never depend on a man for money and to never depend on people to do things for them. So the fact that you weaponize the very thing that you're teaching your children not to do, and you set that girl up to feel so disregarded, makes me so upset for her, to the point she now has to figure out life for herself, and it makes me sad for her.
I understand everything you said.
So we see Carlos clearly was very moved. I'll admit, when Candiace said, I know y'all aren't going to fight for me. I've been in that position before in a work situation where it's like truly doing what I'm supposed, minding my business. And now because I'm not intermingling and all with the folks, now that's an issue. And then when something comes up in the office, it's like you have nobody to back you up when you know that you're in the right. So I get that. So when Candiace said that, I felt for her. I felt that in my chest. Like she really felt like I have nobody here to fight for me. And I just want to go back. Think about Candiace's first season. Candiace's first season was, I forget where it was. I think this was her first season. I forget where they went to. Was it France? They went somewhere and they were getting on Karen. They had went to like either make perfume, and then Monique was going to start a wine company or something like that. And they all get in the SUV and Ashley is going in on Karen. I know this about you. I know that about you. I know this about your marriage. Ray said he's moving to Florida after retirement, blah, blah, blah. And her friends, they were laughing along with it. Even Monique, Karen was supposed to be her girl, they were laughing. Candiace was new and was like, Ashley, if you're going to say something, just say what you got to say. All this back and forth. Candiace jumped in to defend Karen. Go back and watch that scene. Candiace jumped in to defend Karen. When it came to Monique, because I watched somebody talk about how Candiace turned on Monique, and not to go backwards, but I'm like, nah, that ain't quite what happened. We watched how Ashley got on Watch What Happens Live and talked about Monique having a lot of drinks. And this was after Monique had crashed her car. And Ashley was saying she was so tipsy, she had to take a nap before she drove. But Monique drove, and she said, make no mistake, I made no mistake. Right? We remember that, right? So then going into the season, Ashley has all this to say about Monique drinking. And at the reunion, Candiace had Monique's back. It wasn't until the butt grabbing situation that happened in Monique's house, where all of a sudden the cameras didn't catch that or weren't on, the cameras inside Monique's house, that Ashley then wanted to make up with Monique. And Candiace was like, her words were, why you want to make up with this hoe? She didn't talked about you. And Monique got upset with Candiace and was like, grow up. Don't be a little girl. And Candiace is like, I got your back against this girl who talked about you drinking, basically alluded to you crashing your car. Chris was on the reunion almost in tears, asking Ashley to stop talking about Monique drinking because people were associating that with her having her miscarriage. He was literally in tears, and Ashley just sat there. So Candiace had Monique's back. There's been many backs that Candiace has had over the years, putting herself out there and not saying that it's not her fault for doing it. She seems like that's just the type that she is. She put herself out there only for her to turn around now and nobody is speaking up for you. So I get where she's coming from. But it's funny, reading those comments, some of those comments was like, I don't even know if people watch the same show. We all have our difference of opinions, but I'm like, let's not rewrite history. But I felt for Candiace in that moment. And I don't know, it's just a wild place to be. I'm definitely glad that she is leaving the show. But what's interesting is I paused that video to say, not Giselle Kobe Bryant. Remember, he called her Giselle Kobe Bryant, put her amongst the top 10 housewives. And now he's saying, well, the real Giselle Bryant, please stand up. I thought that was interesting. I wonder if they talk anymore, because he made a reference about him saying things about certain housewives and they don't talk no more or something like that. And for some reason, it made me think of Giselle. He didn't say that in this video, but in a different one. So what do y'all think about Carlos and his feelings behind all this with Candiace? I'm not gonna lie to you. We know that he's got emotional on his platform before, but I too, like I said, in that moment, I too really felt for Candiace when that was happening, because speaking of Candiace, I want to get into another person who I feel like doesn't care for Candiace. We're going to get into that. I've always felt like this. Sorry, y'all. My phone is kind of going crazy here. I want to talk about Andy Cohen's speaking out on Candiace and Robyn leaving. I noticed when the other ladies gave their departures, like say Candy and Marlo and Sonia even, he didn't wait weeks to speak on it, right? So Candiace gave her announcement how many weeks ago, and he didn't say a word about it. Now Robyn has come out with hers. So let's listen, or rather, I'm going to read y'all what he has to say. Andy Cohen on Robyn Dixon and Candiace Dillard-Bassett's RHOP exit and being crowned the Grand Duke of Potomac. I did think it was interesting, or actually it's kind of fitting, a white man being crowned the Duke of Potomac by Karen and Giselle makes sense. Andy Cohen is weighing in on the Real Housewives of Potomac following the season 8 reunion conclusion after Robyn Dixon and Candiace Dillard-Bassett announced their exits. Cohen took to his Sirius XM show to give his thoughts on the RHOP season 8 reunion, where he was crowned the Grand Duke of Potomac after a long day of filming. When I tell you that reunion I think we were done around 9. It was not a good day. There was a lot going on personally. And also I really felt like we didn't get to the place with the group that I had hoped we would have, which is what our goal was at the beginning of the reunion, i.e. translation. We didn't get to the point of Candiace groveling at Giselle's feet saying, I want your friendship. I was wrong in everything. That's what he meant. He continued, I remember I had not slept particularly well the night before, and here we were, and I got to tell you something, and I had lost my voice at the end. I was in my feelings, all right? And at the end, when Karen and Giselle came out and said, we have one more surprise, and they obviously fake crowned me the Grand Duke of Potomac, it made my night, it turned my night around. Cohen said he brought that crown home, and his son, Ben Cohen, has not stopped playing with it. The Watch What Happens Live host went on to give his take on Dixon, announcing she was departing RHOP after 8 seasons. She announced that she was let go, and I still respect Robyn for truth bombing. Anyone can say whatever they want when they leave the Housewives, and I just love it that that's what she said. She was like, look, I'm going to be straight with you. Cohen also acknowledged that Dilla Bissett also announced she was leaving RHOP, adding that both of them contributed mightily to the show. Robyn Dixon, who has been there since day one and has opened up an unconventional family life, but one that really works for her and is based on such a long history with she and Juan Dixon. I mean, they've known each other since high school. His parents passed. I mean, it's really, it's incredible. They are family, these two. Side note to that, because I know when she came in, she had said that her parents basically raised Juan. And I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. One of my closest girlfriends lived around the corner from where Juan Dixon lived with his aunt who raised him. She went to high school with him. And there have been articles written where Juan has talked about the aunts and uncles who raised him. He met Robyn when he was 17. So I think senior year of high school is when they met. I'm not saying he didn't move in after that, but what I'm saying is they met when Robyn was 17. And she actually said it herself in an Us Weekly article. And they started dating and what have you. So maybe her parents did, take him in like their son, because his parents, unfortunately, did pass away. But it wasn't a thing of her parents took them in when they were younger in high school and raised him. Juan was raised by his aunts, some of his uncles. And I feel like that was a narrative that was always trying to be painted also. But like I said, Juan himself has given articles about talked in articles about the people who raised him. But anyway, he says, however, many people want to question that relationship, Juan and Robyn. What is clear is they are actually family and will always be. He continued, wish both Candiace and Robyn, and I do hope to see both of them back on our screens in the future. That's what he said. Wish both Candiace and Robyn, and I do hope to see both of them back on our Potomac screens in the future. Candiace, who clearly I think has a pretty big music career ahead of her. It's like he didn't even finish the sentence. He gave Robyn a lot, barely gave Candiace anything. I think that says a lot. Again, I feel like Andy has an issue with the women who don't have a problem not calling him daddy, if you know what I mean, or my boss or Daddy Andy. Kenya, Candiace, even Jen Aiden, I'll give her that. He seems like he has a problem with the women who don't kiss the ring. But I feel like he was throwing shade to Candiace. I feel like that's who he was talking about. What do y'all think? I do. Almost like Robyn in her statement, and then it's like Andy is piggybacking right out. I'm telling you, Andy pissed me off. Anyway, I'm not gonna go on a whole rant, but what do y'all think? Do y'all think that he was shading Candiace and letting us know, hey, by the way, she left on her own? Which I've seen the discussion. I've seen people say Candiace knew she was being fired. That's why she quit. Because also someone on Twitter said that Robyn said, and I believe this was someone probably in her DM group chats, that when she got the call, whoever it was that called her told her there were others coming. Why would your employer, hey, listen, we no longer need your services, but we get ready to fire some other people too. But anyway, let's say that did happen. How do we know Candiace wasn't aware and quit before she got fired? So even if she did quit before she got fired, technically she still quit. She still walked away before they could tell her your services were no longer needed. Either way, whether she was getting ready to get the axe, got the axe, what have you, I'm glad that she's no longer in that environment for the sake of her mental health, her husband, her baby, and their family. So again, shout out to you, Candiace. Andy, you really worked my nerves with that one. Y'all, that's all I have for y'all in this video. Y'all let me know what y'all think, what we talked about. I'll be back later. We're going to talk about Kevin, Hunter, and Simone Biles. And Winter Harris from Love and Marriage DC did a really good interview with Queen Sheba Darling on YouTube. And when I tell you Winter was spilling some tea, so I'm going to be down here later to talk about that. But for now, again, let me know what y'all think about what we just talked about. I love y'all, and I will talk to y'all later. See ya.